Good day, my friend. Welcome back. So, we're in our fourth and uh, final week of this first round of practical application areas of our uh, intuitive investigating. And today we're going to talk about work. So, we've talked about just spiritual inquiry for its own sake, first and foremost. And then we looked at inquiring about the physical health of our body, and I'd be curious to see how that continues to play out because I'm sure that's on your radar. And then lastly, we talked about relationships, which was sort of this leap beyond our, just ourselves, even though our focus was very much on what's within our power and our control to contribute to a relationship. And really, that's what that section is all about, and that's what relationship is all about. Is showing up for our highest good and showing up for the highest good of the people we're in relationship to, and recognizing that's what's in our wheelhouse. That's our work. That's our garden to tend to and our contribution. And we focus on those things. Well, we're going to now expand beyond just relationships, and we're going to look at work. And I wanted to look at this because people often have questions, obviously, about their work and their career path. And the one thing I wanted to mention just kind of right here at the top is it's my feeling growing up in American North American culture, or I should say in the culture of the United States, in the culture of the United States of America, I feel there's a very strong attachment to work and a career and vocation, and it's interwoven and very closely intertwined with identity. So that's been an interesting thing, at least for me personally, to kind of work through, because I've done a lot of different things. I was a child actor I started when I was 6. I did it for a few years. Then I was an athlete. I played football up through my first couple years in college. Became a personal trainer, was a personal trainer for a long time. Got involved in political activism and doing work in politics. And then I started to marry that with the filmmaking stuff that I was doing, shooting and editing content. And I did that for a while, and I just shot and edited content for a long time. And then eventually, oh no, now I'm writing a book. Now I'm writing 2 books, and now I'm doing intuitive guidance readings. So for me, it's been such a wild journey because so many people, I feel like, in our culture identify like their work or their career, or let's put it this way, how they make money. They very much identify with how they make money, which is an interesting commentary. It shows you how kind of materially focused and kind of money-centric we are in our culture. If you ask me, if you were to ask me about work, I would say it's our spiritual work. That's our work. That's what we came here to do. That is the experience that we came to have, was all of it. And that what we do for a career or how we make money is a component of the grand spiritual work. Regardless, our career path or our work, our vocation, this is very often an important dimension of what we experience. Not always. It doesn't have to be, and I want to drive that home. Again, going back to identifying so closely with our work, a lot of times people will say, well, what's my purpose? And what they're kind of asking is like, well, what am I supposed to go do in the world for money that sustains me, that is also spiritual, or something like that. And sometimes, like, yeah, work, again, making money is a component of what we're doing here, but like our work might be all about our, like, very, very focused on our relationships, raising a family, being a caretaker, learning how to be a public servant, just learning how to take care of our body. Maybe a lot of this soul journey is so much of it's about like our physical health and our body, and all the other stuff on the periphery is something, right? And but it's not like the focal point from a soul level. From a soul level, the soul is the focal point. Anyhow, I'm talking a lot all over the place. I haven't got to the point yet. I'm just making some other points. Trying to break through some of the conditioning we have around our work and how we make money. So when I talk about work or career, know that we're going to ask in the context of our highest good and our soul's growth, and realize that that's just a component of this experience. It may be a focal point, you know, your soul work and your what you do for money work may be in alignment for a long time, for a short time. It may be the focal point for a long time or a short time. It may not, but we're going to get down to it and uncover that here. And that's the important part about focusing specifically this week on this dimension of ourselves, because at least what I've recognized over the years of doing this is that we ebb and flow through these different aspects of our life. Like there's these little areas, and anybody who follows astrology, I'm not an astrologer by any means, but we know that there's 12 houses and the planets are moving through all the different houses, and the relationship of the planets and what house they're in and where all that stuff actually brings different aspects of our lives into focus at different times. I've definitely picked up on that intuitively just through the years of working with this part of myself and doing this intuitive investigating. So we're going to focus on work. And we're going to ask questions about our spiritual growth in relationship to what we're doing for money or what our career is. And it may or may not be the focal point, but it is going to be this week. So first, a question we can ask ourselves, especially this was asked in the framing of, people sometimes being confused about which direction to take. We're going to focus on money and career, and we just might ask, what path forward serves my highest good? What path forward serves my highest good? And just pay attention and see if there's anything that comes in. See if there's insights or revelations that nudge you a certain direction about where you might go for work or to make money. When I do intuitive readings for other people, and people sometimes maybe they don't have a job, or they're in between jobs, or they're like definitely done with one chapter of their life, they're looking for something else. At that point, the sky's the limit. And so I just ask, okay, well, what career path moving forward would serve this person's highest good? And then I might get some information about that. You can do that for yourself. The next question, what spiritual lessons can I take from my time at work? An excellent spiritual question. That way we make our work not all about just it's how we make money. That can get very dreary. And I think we've all been there. Maybe some of us are still there, where there are just certain things we have to do, or certain things that we do to have our basic needs met, and we show up and we exchange time and energy for a paycheck that may or may not reflect our inherent value as children of the divine. I digress. But how do we deepen what's going on there? Well, this experience is present. This is where we're at now. Well, what spiritual lessons can I take from my time at work? This is an excellent question to ask in your wisdom seeking sessions. Allow that information to come in and see what meaning is there, what relationships are maybe important, what lessons we're learning. What is being forged, what quality or characteristic in ourselves is being forged at work that's maybe helping us step into a more evolved or a more healthy, balanced, whole human being. Another question, what can I do to honor or express my higher self in this work? So again, just kind of like within the framing of your career path or your work life, asking that question, what can I do to honor or express my higher self in this work? So again, we're taking our power back by asking questions like these, going back to even going all of it. In the spiritual sense, a lot of times we can absolve ourselves of the power by blaming the universe or blaming God or blaming whatever outside of us for what's going on. And asking these questions are spiritually empowering us. Sometimes we can blame our health and our well-being on the terrible food that's, the poisoned water, all the processed food and all that kind of stuff, and the environment is going to hell, and that's why my physical health is bad. But when we start to ask these questions, we're taking our power back when it comes to our health. Same thing in relationships. I said, instead of focusing on what other people are doing, we're going to focus on us. What can we do? What can we do to show up for our highest good and the highest good of others around us? That's our role. That's our responsibility. And in this work here, our career, instead of blaming a terrible, job or a terrible boss or horrible coworkers on what's going on, well, What can I do to honor and express my higher self in this work? What spiritual lessons can I take from the situation I'm in now? And that immediately is a reframe, and that immediately deepens the experience, and we're on the path now. We're moving into spiritual alignment by simply asking questions like this, and we're taking our power back as a spiritual being, and then we will be guided, and we will be given insight and wisdom about what we can do within our power to co-create and influence our experience. That's the work we're up to here. It's very exciting. We can also ask, how does this career path serve my highest good or my soul's growth? So we can ask what path forward, what kind of work, what kind of career serves my highest good. We can ask about the lessons that we're learning, which is similar as how does this path serve my highest good or soul growth? That's a similar question. But we can ask that question. And another one I wanted to throw out there, again, we're talking about kind of taking our power back. What can we do in our power to contribute, to express our soul's highest good or our soul's truth? To express what is loving, what is true, and is wise in our work environment. Where can I focus my energy to manifest my soul's highest expression? Now, it's an interesting question to ask because, again, at the end of the day, we might get answers around how do we manifest our soul's highest expression in that work environment, but we also might get information around something that's unrelated to work. Where can I focus my energy to manifest my soul's highest expression? Work might be a thing that we do 4 hours, 6 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day. Maybe, but that still might not be the focus. Does that make sense? Because your focus might be on your meditation, or it might be on your family. You know, your focus might be on the art you're creating outside of the work you're doing in exchange for a paycheck. And all of that has value. So I like this question here, and I snuck it in here. It's different. These questions are a little different than the ones that are in the book. Obviously, you know, I wrote the book, you know, a while ago, and this work evolves and I evolve, and my understanding of this process deepens with every single intuitive guidance reading I do. And so where can I focus my energy to manifest my soul's highest expression? I feel like it would be an interesting exercise to pose that question in the context of your career path and your work, and just see like what is revealed to you. If what comes through really is vocation and what you and your work and what you do in exchange for money, or does something else emerge and you realize, oh, that's where I can focus my energy and attention. And so at some level, sometimes that information comes in and it tells us what to focus on. And it allows us to kind of like release some of the emotion and the tension and the attachment we have to certain areas of our lives for the moment, because we recognize our soul is calling, you know, it's calling to a certain point, a certain thing, to be present for something else. An example that I can think of right now is like work might be everything for a long time, but then a family member gets sick and caretaking is needed. And so the job that we've been doing and invested in for a long time, all of a sudden kind of like shifts to the background, and it's there. The day-to-day, it's mostly the same stuff. It's nothing super new or super exciting. And it's like our attention now is going to be directed towards caretaking in that dynamic or caretaking in that relationship. And so if we understand that that's the focus, then we kind of release a little bit again of the work of the work drama or the attachment to what's going on, and we maybe not as obsessed about it. We kind of let things go and let things be a little bit, and shift our awareness to this other part of our lives is asking for attention. Again, great lessons there in being able to let go and in non-attachment, being fluid, you know. And one of the ways we get into that space, we wiggle into that perspective shift, is by being fluid and dynamic with the intuition, with our intuition and the intuitive guidance that comes in. Because the bottom line is that we're having a dynamic spiritual / human experience here. It's been my experience for me. This is not just all about one thing. If it was just about one thing, we'd call it's about the spiritual growth. We're going to boil it all the way down. But that spiritual growth comes from so many different, unique experiences. and relationships and dynamics. Life is gonna move and shift and shake, and being connected to this intuitive guidance and this awareness can really help us move and flow with that and grow at a deep spiritual level um, as we move through that journey. But also, it'll just bring a lot of meaning. At least it has for me. It'll bring a lot of meaning to every moment, every interaction, every experience, no matter how long, how short, how fleeting, or how long that duration of exchange, that energy is. It brings like the almost like the weight of eternity to every single moment and interaction. And for me, there's something so sublime and like kind of divine about that. I love that. That's it. So those are the work questions. There's work questions in the book too. This week, get into your meditation, do the higher self meditation, maybe do a journey to meet your guides or whatever practice you've now come up with for yourself. Work through these questions, take note, see what comes up. And we're gonna revisit this again in a few weeks. So try this for the next week. When you're ready, click into the next video. We're gonna do part 2 of the spiritual questions. Just gonna be a little check-in and allow you to, go back through now. We're gonna go through spirit check-in, physical health check-in, relationship check-in, and a work check-in again, so that by the end of this, you've got 8 weeks of real practical application of this. So we're halfway through. I can't wait to see what comes up and comes in for you here. When you're ready, I'll see you in the next video, and we'll check in for part 2 of our spiritual inquiries. See you later.